What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe with No Days Off DFS here to bring you guys the slate breakdown for the 9-game NBA slate over on DraftKings. If you guys new here, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content your boy drops over here on the channel. And drop a like on this video if this video or any of my other videos help you guys win some money. Or if you just feel sorry for your boy because I'm still sick. As you guys can see, though, last night, your boy had his Jordan flu game and took down his contest I was in. Woke up to some pretty good money yesterday. I honestly thought I was kind of going to be in the water with Amen Thompson really just not having the best night to start it out. Fell asleep. I saw that Curry was questionable, and then I woke up in time to make some swap around. So I only had 2 players from the early games anyway, and in the core that I posted, which was this right here. I was pretty high on the Warriors for the day yesterday anyway. I mean, they're going up against Utah. It's very easy. And then Utah, they ended up ruling a bunch of their guys out. So kind of made it pretty easy really to get to Giannis and then get to 2 other stud players in Anthony Simons and Denny Avdija, who went out there and had an amazing game. And surprisingly, they beat the Bucks. And so, them going out there pretty much having the ceiling performance at least allowed Giannis to go out there and have a floor performance of himself. And then just on running it back, Isaiah Collier, again, he's starting. He's playing more minutes over Keontae George, really out there over Sexton and stuff like that anyway. No Rory Larkin, no John Collins or anything to worry about. And then running it back with the Warrior value that I love. I told you guys on the stream yesterday, I like Podomensky, loved his upside. Looked like he's playing like himself from last year, pre-injury. And then Moses Moody, I seen that they had him in the starting lineup, and really Moody was what also allowed me to go ahead and get up to that Giannis and Simons and Denny Avdija into fitting into that line. Ended up having to come off of Post, but still Post was a good play. He still went out there and gave us 20 fantasy points as well out there. So yeah, all in all, not bad. And then, of course, as you guys already know, prop plays gave those out. So besides the ones that I got DNP'd, only missed on 2 of those there. Working on trying to get all the content out for today, and you guys already know I'm going to go ahead and get that stuff out for you guys up on the Patreon. If you guys want to support the Patreon, the link for that is down in the description below. Hopefully today, I should be able to have my player pool out today. I should. I'm going to try my damnedest to get that player pool out today. I hadn't been able to do it the last couple of days just because it takes a lot for me to be able to sit here and go through and put everything into the spreadsheet to upload it. But today I'm going to try to feel a bit better than what I felt the last couple of days. This is the best I felt so far. So glad for that. Of course, don't take your health for granted, anybody. Not saying, like I'm illy sick or anything like that, but just as you get older, when you get sick, it's not the same like when you get sick as a kid, being able to bounce back and stuff like that. Thought I took precautions, taking care of everybody in the house as they were sick, but it's just one of those things, especially when you have a big household, big family, the sickness that rolls around and rolls through. So just make sure you're doing what you got to do. Disinfect stuff, sanitize, shit like that, clean the sheets and the pillowcases, all that good stuff. The little shit that you don't think about doing. Make sure you do that stuff and just, stay warm, bundle up, all that other jazz right there. But all right, looking at it, like I said, we got 9 games. Some decent games on today's slate. Definitely some spots that we can attack left and right. Definitely some prop plays as well that I can't wait to be able to get into and break down for that as well. First up, we got Detroit taking on Indy. Really no news that we got to worry about from either side of these. Ivy's always been out. Nembhard, if he's going to miss this, that's just going to boost the minutes up for maybe, I can see, what's his name, TJ McConnell off the bench, him getting a couple more minutes and run. And then Neesmith, I know he's back. Maybe he can get some burn and run as well. Would be some extra for them if Nembhard does miss. This is also going to be Indy's first game back in the States. So they are back now because they did play those 2 Paris games over there with the San Antonio Spurs. Toronto Raptors taking on Washington. Kelly Olynyk, game time decision quickly. He's still going to be out, so we already know that. Washington, sorry, he's a game time decision. All their usuals, they're out already. Brooklyn taking on the Charlotte Hornets. This is where we're going to get some value at. Once again, of course, both of these teams dealing with injuries left and right or just sitting people out. We got Bogdanovich out, Clowney's out, Cam Johnson's out, Lewis is out, Cam Thompson's out for the Brooklyn Nets. Don't see anything about Ben Simmons, so I would expect that he's going to play unless they just decide they want to hold him out, but we should have that news. It's a 7 o'clock game. Charlotte Hornets on their side, they're without LaMelo again. LaMelo really has to do something about them ankles, man. Josh Green is out, Trey Mann is out, Martin is out as well, and then big Mark Williams is out. So we saw this last time. They started Taj Gibson, but don't pay that any attention. Taj is going to play more than 10 minutes, so don't even got to worry about that. It's going to be DB Tate that's going to get most of the center run. Chicago Bulls taking on the Boston Celtics. Kobe White, game time decision. If he's going to be out, then of course we will see Lonzo back in the starting lineup and get that good run for Ayo, Josh Giddey, pretty much their three-headed monster over here for their guards. If Kobe White's back, that's going to be good because they're already without Zach LaVine, who's being held out just because of the trade deadline and possibility for him to get traded. So really, they say personal, but I do think he's just being held out in regards to trade talks. Boston on their side, Tatum's a game time decision, but I would expect for him to play. Let me look real quick, see if they're on the front end of back-to-back. All right, so Boston's not on the front end of a back-to-back or anything like that. The next time they play isn't going to be until Friday, so I would imagine that we should see Tatum playing this game, and Al Horford, those guys, they shouldn't be rested. There should be no reason for them to rest. They didn't play last night or anything, so I wouldn't expect that. Cleveland, well, then again, it is the Bulls. You kind of don't have to have your full squad to beat the Bulls, but we'll see. Cleveland taking on Miami. Levert, he's going to be out. Okoro's out. Dean Wade is out as well. Mobley, he's back. Looks like he's playing his normal minutes. He's good to go. On the Miami side of things, Jimmy Butler is finally going to get his wish, and Pat Riley is going to have to trade him. Probably going to get less than what he wanted originally for Butler, but knowing the Heat, they're going to figure out something. And honestly, that's the downside with the Heat. And I'm going to go on a little tangent to the left side real quick, is that the Heat are a talented organization with and I'll use this like with Memphis, the grit and grind style that they have in regards to play. But the issue with the Heat is what free agents truly want to go there. I really can't name any outside of when we had the whole LeBron James, D Wade, and Bosh down there. I can't think of any big names that really wanted to go and play for Miami since then. That's kind of alarming and really crazy. I know they try to build through the draft. They get a lot of the big names through trade and whatnot. So interesting right there, but they might be all right for the future. They got Tyler Hero. They got something really great in where Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic. So they got some good stuff brewing over there. That'd be interesting. But Jimmy Butler, he's going to be out on the trade block, so we don't have to worry about that saga anymore and everything over there. Denver Nuggets taking on New York Knicks. This should be a good game right here. Nuggets definitely need to get another win in the win column. Normal starting lineup for them. Nothing really to report over there for that. New York Knickerbockers, Josh Hart, game time decision, but he's been a game time decision last couple games, but has played, and I would imagine he's going to play to get up for this game right here. Prop that you could take for both sides of this. Take the Joker for a triple-double, Josh Hart for a triple-double. Yeah, that'd be a decent one to go ahead and take in that game. Sacramento Kings taking on Philly. Well, now I'll say that for the breakdown. Sacramento Kings taking on Philly. No news to report for the Kings. Only thing I worry about over here for the Kings would be De'Aaron Fox pretty much being waved around in the trade market. That'll be the only hesitation that I would have to mess with Fox on anything. Either it can go two ways. He could be boosting his trade stock by playing so good, or they could be limiting his minutes and limiting his production in order to keep him fresh and good for a trade. On the Philly side, they just played last night. Drummond, game time decision. KJ Martin, game time decision. Caleb or Cody Martin, game time decision. Paul George, doubtful to play. Embiid's already going to be out. Interesting to see how that one's going to go right there. Dallas, they're going to be without their long list of guys that they've been not having. Najee Marsh, game time decision, might play, might not. On the Pelicans side of things, they're still without B.I., still without Herb Jones. DeJounte Murray, he's expected to play. Trey Murphy, Zion, all those guys are good to go. Los Angeles Clippers taking on San Antonio Spurs, their first game back from being over in Paris. Really no news to report over here for the Clippers. Kawhi, his minutes are slowly ticking back up. San Antonio Spurs, nothing really to report over here as well. Minnesota, Rob Dillingham, he's playing so great off the bench and everything for him. Game time decision, might actually miss a game, which is going to kind of suck, but could solidify some of those minutes up here for Mike Conley right there on that. For the Phoenix side, Ryan Dunn, he missed their last game. Kevin Durant, he's also game time decision. Hopefully, both these guys are good to go and back, especially KD. I would love to look towards KD's direction. And then it's OKC and Golden State Warriors game. I don't believe that one is going to be on the main slate. Yeah, because it's so late. Oh, well, the 9 o'clock games that I even just talked about, the Minnesota and Phoenix, that one's not even on the main slate. So ignore what I said on that one. Sorry about that. Head on over to DraftKings, the site I play the most on the site. If you guys don't got an account, you want one, make sure you guys check the link down in the description below so you guys get that deposit match bonus and join your boy over here on the King. Brooklyn taking on Charlotte. This is where we're going to get a lot of value for today. Right here is going to be directly in this game, just because both teams, they're missing a ton of players. And we've constantly seen this so far throughout the season, where we've ended up being able to roster a ton, especially just because of the usage and everything that goes around. On the Charlotte side of things, this is really where I kind of want to focus, because they have the good value over here to me, in my eyes. Nick Smith, we know what we're kind of going to get from him. As long as he goes out here and not has another poor shooting night like what he did in these back-to-back games versus the Los Angeles Lakers and the New Orleans Pelicans, and gives us back towards that 20+ fantasy point production that he has, I don't mind him at all, especially at that 5K price tag. That's not bad. The upside definitely can be there. I'm a little hesitant to even want to go and play Mishik, just because he's very much not paying off his price in what he does. The assists, they've been down. The 3-point shot, he's chucking shots, but he's not really doing too much with his time, his minutes, or anything. It's not really producing any upside to me with what I'm seeing out there for him. Instead, I will say I like Josh Okogie off the bench. He's been playing some pretty decent minutes since he's gotten over here to this team. 40, 25, 33 fantasy points. I can't ignore that, especially going up against a Brooklyn Nets team who I know he should be able to feast on what he's been doing so well over here for them, getting those steals, being able to do a little bit on the peripherals, and also just being able to score, showing that he has something out there in the tank. I love his upside. 4,300. I definitely would be looking towards that and want to take that. Diabite, talked about it in the injury report. Yeah, sure. Taj Gibson's going to start. They're more likely going to start Taj Gibson. I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but Diabite is going to go out there and play majority of the minutes. The last game that Mark Williams missed was the New Orleans Pelicans game. He played 29 minutes in that game right there. Almost had a double-double, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, 1 steal, 9 points. The upside is definitely going to be there for him, especially at 3,700. You tell me he can go out there and at least give me 20 fantasy points. 21 minutes against Portland is 21 fantasy points. 18 minutes going up against Dallas, 16.5 fantasy points. Memphis, a little bit of a tougher matchup. Los Angeles Lakers, almost a fantasy point per minute going up against AD, but again, playing the backup with Mark Williams playing 11 minutes, 9 fantasy points. The upside is there for him, and I like him here at that 3,700 price tag. Don't be alarmed if he doesn't start. That's okay. That's fine. Outside of that, of course, we're also going to be looking towards Miles Bridges. We know that he's pretty much double-double, almost double-double-ish guaranteed with LaMelo not being out there. No Mark Williams, the rebounding chance, those will be there for him as well. But the scoring load that he typically takes over and takes on whenever those guys aren't out there, that's definitely going to be there for Miles Bridges. 8,200, very much a decent price tag that we can go ahead and take for a stud. Going up against what I arguably would say should be a cake matchup, especially considering that they're not going to have Clowney out there, who is their normal starting power forward out there for him at the power forward spot. And if you look at it, the opposing power forwards, last couple that have gone out here who actually have some scoring paralysis to their names. Bam Adebayo dropped 45, Kevin Durant 42, Josh Hart, even though he's a tweener between the small forward and the power forward spot, he dropped 39 fantasy points. LeBron James 55, Kamara dropped 42. Miles Bridges takes a pretty good chunk of threes out there. Definitely can stuff the stat sheet in, getting some rebounds. Also the playmaking without your normal point guards and stuff being out there. Can play some defense as well. Love the upside for him. 8,200, that would be one of my studs that I would be wanting to look towards and wanting to get to on today's slate. Outside of that, like I said, the two main value plays that I really do love over here, Okogie and Diabite, both those definitely in play. Not going to say we can't count out Nick Smith. Not going to say we can't count out Misic, but these two guys down here definitely do seem to being able to pay off that price tag and can get more value out of them from what I'm seeing and what I'm looking at over there. On the Brooklyn Nets side, I do want to know what's going on if Ben Simmons is going to be limited playing, like what's going to be what. Says that he's been cleared after missing the last couple games with a back issue. I highly doubt he's going to play a deep run or deep minutes with that. So I will say that, oh dang, Jalen Johnson will undergo season-ending shoulder surgery. Damn. That sucks. He was having a very, very, very good season. So on this side for the Brooklyn Nets, D'Lo is definitely one that I will constantly want to go back to. 6,600, definitely not a bad price tag. Really kind of that mid-tweener a spot for me, and I know the upside is definitely going to be there. You can tell me he can go out here and play at least 30 minutes going up against the Charlotte Hornets. Great spot for him to be able to go out there and give us some good numbers. Austin Reeves just dropped 38 fantasy points versus them. Anthony Simons 41, John Morant 48. So the upside 6,600, a player that I know can go out there and dish to rock, get some decent assists. Also will look to score, take a good chunk of 3-point shots as well. The upside is definitely there for D'Lo, 66. I love that for him. Outside of that, Nick Claxton, 6,300. The only issue that I will say that Claxton has is just the minutes have been wonky for him, but the matchup is a good matchup. We still attack Charlotte with opposing centers. He has played them well in the past, which was of course last season. We don't have anything for him this season versus them, but I'm not gonna say you can go out there and give us Anthony Davis numbers just because he's not playing those exact minutes like what AD would play. I do see him being able to possibly get to a world or a floor of maybe 30-ish fantasy points if he is given the minute. So this is more of a GPP option that I can see us taking right here. Sorry, if you guys notice some really crazy breaks in it, because I have to pause the recording. I am still taking care of one other sick child today, so I apologize during the recording as well for that. Also, I'm also pausing because I'll have a coughing fit every now and then. Outside of Nick Claxton as being a GPP option or something like that for you, I could see, depending on who they start for Clowney and what they do with Ben Simmons, Wilson would definitely be someone that I can take a look at. And that's if he's going to be put into the starting lineup. As you can see, he gets minutes. He can give us some decent production and upside. Granted, these last couple of games have been without Ben Simmons, so we do have to see what's going to happen in that regards. But if they are going to actually start him at that spot, I don't mind taking a stab at that 5,600 price tag right there for him. And then their other shooter that they have over here, where is he at? Keon Johnson, yeah, 5,500. Another one that's a shooter that's going to shoot and has upside in regards to whenever he is out there on the court, and can give us some decent upside if they want to actually stay in this game. I would expect this to be fast-paced game anyway for these guys, so I could see a world where Keon is actually able to go out there and give us a little something. Not really going to be too interested in Ben Simmons, like I said, coming back off an injury. We know how they've been tailoring and just kind of cautious with him out there, so I'm not going to force that or even look in that direction as something that has to be played or whatnot. Going on over to the Toronto Raptors, taking on Washington. So in the middle of getting everything together for this, Grady Dick was just announced on the injury report as probable, I believe. Wait, let me pull it up right now. It says Grady Dick, he is illness, now questionable. 9 times out of 10, late add to the injury report. He's going to be out tonight, is what I'm going to imagine. Now, Grady Dick being out, who are they going to move into the starting lineup to replace the spot? They already got Davion Mitchell in the starting lineup to go ahead and take that right there. They could do something with, of course, Shaheed possibly getting in there. Or what I hope they do is go ahead and give us the Bruce Brown start. If they give us the Bruce Brown start, you already know what time it is. Play that boy Bruce Brown. I mean, the dude's already getting hella minutes already and producing really great numbers. And at 4,500, that's another value play that I love on today's slate. Already was going to be high on him, even if he was not going to be in the starting lineup, just because look at the matchup. It's going up against Washington, one of the teams that we do attack on the left and right already for the season with opposing teams and opposing things like that whenever we can. But Bruce Brown at that 4,500, which is just crazy that they even have him priced right there. For that. All right, go ahead and go sit down. It's crazy to not even want to go ahead and take that. And the fact that his price just isn't moving up. It's not like he's not giving us some good production. Outside of that, of course, it's the usual. Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, both of them. This is a good matchup, great spot. Same thing for Jakob Poeltl. We know opposing centers, we can go ahead and attack that and take that. Looks like we're getting Jakob Poeltl of old, where he is doing everything, stuff in the stat sheet. No Kelly Olynyk. Those minutes possibly could be on the uptick in regards to security, in regards to his minutes being out there. We should see more of the upwards in the 30 minutes for him. Now, if there is no Kelly, that also is going to mean we should see some more minutes for Chris Bouchard, who is also being dangled on the trade market as well. So upping up his trade value, he's out there giving us back to back 20 plus fantasy point games. So the upside definitely is there. 4K price tag. I don't mind taking a gamble on him, but I will say the more secure gamble to take would be Bruce Brown at that 4,500 price tag. That's just chef's kiss, too easy to even make a decision and decide for right there. On the flip side of things, over here on Washington, looking at them, not gonna lie, every time I recommend Poole, he kind of burns me. But over his last couple games, he is kind of showing a little bit of some type of production versus the LA teams, 33-45 versus Phoenix out there. He dropped 56, Dallas 32. So maybe, just maybe, he can actually give us something decent here. Playing back at the crib, 7,100. I don't mind that price tag. Kyle Kuzma, same thing. Since he came out in that media interview, said, you know what, I'm doing me. You know, I'm going to go out here. I'm going to play. This game was a blowout, so I'm going to toss that in the trash. He played 21 minutes at least, took 3 of 11 shots. Maybe if he would have played his normal allotment of minutes, he could have got back up towards that 15, 18 shot attempts that he had when he played versus Phoenix out there. So I'm going to take that with a grain of salt, and I'm going to believe the more aggressive Kuzma now. So I'm going to take a chance on him. More GPP option, not very much secure in regards to wanting to force Kuzma into my lines, but 62, I could definitely see myself looking there towards him. And then just the young guys, like always over here for them, Koulibaly, we could look towards him. If Sar was to miss, then of course J Val is going to get a boost and bump in regards to the minutes and everything that he should see. Definitely would see myself looking towards J Val. Decent matchup, of course. We know we can attack them with opposing centers. So that spot definitely would be, of course, Jonas if there is no Sar. If Sar is in, then of course we can look towards Alex Sar, 55. He's been playing decent outside of course, that 11 minutes versus Dallas, only 8 fantasy points, but that again is a very tough matchup for anybody that's not actually a big body center. Jonas only played 19 minutes in that game, but 17 fantasy points. And again, stuff's the stat sheet, very good fantasy point per minute producer. So if you're going to tell me he should play at least about 25 minutes in the game, I will definitely take that all day, every day. All right there for him. Detroit taking on Indy. This is a what's the word? I guess like a heated spot that we could look towards for this, because there was some trash talking, some ish going on the last game that these two teams played. So going to be interesting to see exactly how this pans out and plays out for them. I know that it was, I believe, Cade, Miles Turner, Pascal Siakams, and then I know Isaiah Stewart, who always loves to start stuff with everybody, talking about the Lego Man and Miles Turner. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how the temperatures work inside of this game. On Detroit side of things, I don't have to talk about Cade Cunningham. You already know Cade is Cade. If this team kind of goes how Cade goes, outside of Cade, Tobias, opposing power forwards, I have been taking them going up against the Indiana Pacers. And on the flip side of things, he's really just been playing pretty shitty. Definitely a GPP option, and could be a spot where we could see a bounce back game, a buy low option at 55. No one's going to want to play Tobias Harris here today. I will say Tim Hardaway Jr. does spark my interest at 4,100. He's playing, of course, the minutes. He's taking the shots. He's one of the ones I don't mind looking at today to take, especially on the road. If you look at him on the road, he's taking those 3-point attempts, and those are there. I don't mind trying to take a ladder on his threes, maybe 2 3. Well, not maybe 2 3s for the base, 3 3s, 4 3s would be something I would look at for Tim Hardaway Jr. as for a prop ladder right there for him. But I do like the upside possibility for Timmy here today as a possible play. Outside of that, over here, you can mess with Jalen Duren. He has had pretty good history going up against them so far this season. In every game that he has played versus them, he has at least put up over 35 fantasy points going up against them. So 5,800, cheap price for us for a decent center who has somewhat seemed to keeping himself out of foul trouble over the last couple games, at least not to where he's losing a lot of his minutes. So definitely can see taking Jalen Duren here, especially the last couple games, 41 and 43 fantasy points going up against them this season. This should be the last game that they should have to actually play versus Indy, if I'm not mistaken. On the flip side of things, over here on the Indiana Pacers side, Miles Turner, I already talked about it. The Lego Man. I think Miles might come out here with a chip on the shoulder and definitely come out here trying to show up and show out. Versus Detroit last time in 37 minutes, 8 of 11 from fucking 3. That is ridiculous. 28 points, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. He straight up went scorched earth on their ass in this. In 2 out of the 3 games that he has played versus them, he's dropped 44 fantasy points versus them. 44. And I mean, again, that's because he can stretch the floor. Like that's the kind of big that he is. So I love the upside that we get right here from Miles Turner, 6,100. If I got to choose between Miles Turner and Jalen Duren, I will say Duren would be more of the I hate to say it, but Duren to me would be, I want to say he's safer than Miles Turner just because Miles relies so much on his shot. That 3 ball has to be going in. Like, he's very much a shooter. Duren is underneath the baskets, gets those putbacks. He's right there, close range. We know what he's going to do. He definitely has the block upside, those things like that. Miles Turner, he's trying to stretch the floor. If he's having a cold night shooting and he's also coming back from playing overseas, That's where I would see Dern would be more my my safer play between the two. Miles Turner would be my GPP option just because, and Dern has actually showed more consistency between the two. But definitely we can mess with Miles Turner here if you want to as one of those. Now, outside of that, the safer play to me will be Pascal Siakam, who going up against Detroit dropped 53.25. Now, just like on the outside, well, not on the outside, on the opposite side where I said I don't mind taking power forwards versus Indy, it's the same thing. I love taking power forwards versus Detroit because Tobias Harris can't guard a lick of paint. Pascal Siakam versus them, as you can see in the last game, he dropped 53.25 fantasy points, and just like Jalen Duren, he's dropped at least 37 fantasy points in all 3 games that they played this season: 47, 37, 53. It's up. Especially if they shit talking and stuff like that. Love the upside. Don't mind going right there to Pascal Siakam. We'll definitely go ahead and take that. Outside of that, of course, we could look towards Tyrese Halliburton, 8,100. You already know kind of what you can get right there for him. 39 fantasy points in the last game versus them, but the upside is there. Don't mind going to him at all whatsoever. If Nembhard, I believe that's the one that, yeah, if Nembhard was to miss, then TJ McConnell, of course, we look for some more minutes for him off the bench. Ben Shepherd might get the start, or they can start Neesmith. If they do start Neesmith, I don't mind looking towards Neesmith because he is a pretty good fantasy point per minute producer when he's out there, not afraid to shoot, and does play some pretty good defense. And 3,300, that's pretty good right there. All right, so in the middle of recording this, of course, I had to take a little break for a second, but haven't gotten to the game yet. It's gonna be the next game, but freaking what's his name? Darius Garland has been ruled out for rest tonight. So we got some, I guess, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley type stuff going on for the later game. And then they also just ruled Alex Sarr out. So I would imagine we might, like I was talking about in this Washington game, we might be getting J-Val as a starter. It'll be interesting to see, but either way, Joe Val should maybe see at least a decent chunk of minutes. So definitely a good value play right there in that game. But moving on, Chicago taking on the Boston Celtics. Again, there's no Zach LaVine, so there's a lot of usage and shots and everything to go around. Josh Giddey would know LaVine being out there. If Kobe White, well, he did participate in shoot around, but the sky, I'm not gonna say the sky's the limit, but definitely some security in regards to him. Definitely, of course, has the double upside like he always does in regards to doing stuff. He definitely has have triple-double upside. Just all depends on what Josh Giddey we're getting for the day is what will dictate that. With Kobe White being in, I don't think that messes up too much for Josh Giddey. Definitely just helps with his assist, being able to dish to another shooter. I don't mind Giddey here in this spot. Kobe White, of course, him being back, as long as he's not going to be limited or anything, I don't mind him. Ayo Dosunmu, of course, he's going to be in contention to play. He should start out there. It should be Giddey, White, and Ayo at the small forward spot, or they could put Giddey at the small forward since he is a big guard anyway. Outside of that, of course, we can look to Vooch, who can stretch the floor and is going to have to going up against Porzingis. I definitely don't mind going in and taking him here in this spot. Definitely, I can see some upside right there for him as well. Really, I'm not too keen and heavy on anybody over here on the Bulls. Just see them as like some fillers. If I land here, I land here. If I don't feel like we have to play anything from Chicago. On the Boston side of things, over here for them, Tatum, I want to say he was the game time decision. Same thing with Al Horford and Hauser. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they sit these guys. If they do, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, boom, boom, both of these guys. So I'm looking at them. They're going up against the Bulls. Porzingis, you guys know, if you watch any of my videos, how much I talk about KP, like playing him. Definitely is a go-to play of mine and whatnot. A prop play that I do like for him today, I would be laddering up these threes right here for him. 2 threes, 3 threes, 4 threes would definitely be something that I could take for KP here in the spot. Going up against the Bulls so far this season, he's at least hit 2 threes in every game versus them, and he's played in all 3, giving us at least 33 fantasy points in every single game that he has played versus them. So again, like I said, I like the upside for KP, especially if there isn't any Tatum. We know those rebounds and those things like that will be there for him. Outside of that, Jaylen Brown, I don't really got to talk about it. We know if one of the duo is going to be missing, then of course JB, he's still under 8K, which is kind of crazy, but he's been tearing off a ton of games since he's dropped below the 8K. 43, 35, 41, 41. That's some good fantasy point production from him, and I'll take that, especially going up against the Bulls. What should be a decent game for him. It went out there in the 3 games, 30 fantasy points, 29 and 38. If Tatum was to miss, I would imagine we should see another 40 plus fantasy point game, and I'm not going to hate him in regards to that, especially if Tatum was to miss. Then I would also look towards Derek White, who looks like he's serving as the point guard now. A little confused in that regards, but Derek White, wouldn't mind getting to him, but I would say I would much prioritize Kristaps Porzingis and Jaylen Brown. You can look towards GPP Flyer and Peyton Pritchard, Luke Cornett, Quetta, any of these guys, but it would just be JB and Porzingis for me over there. On the Cleveland side of things, now that we don't have Darius Garland out here playing, it's going to be interesting to see, are we going to get Donovan Mitchell as the quote-unquote starting point guard? It's going to be interesting because no Garland. Of course, we know the usage is going to go up for Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley. I'm not going to talk about it. We legit know that's it. Like, we know that. What we don't know, how's that going to affect everything else? Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they were to start, maybe because Karis LeVert is out. He would be someone we would normally see slide into these spots and things like that. Ty Jerome would be the one I would probably see come in being there. We know that he does love to check up those shots and things of that nature. I could see Ty being the point guard here in the spot, and going up against Miami, I'm inclined. 4,400, I'd bite. This is shaping up to give us some decent value on today's slate. Definitely, we just got to figure out who we're going to pay up for right now. But Ty Jerome, 4,400. I could definitely see myself getting there. He went off for a crazy game going up against Philly in 33 minutes. Dude dropped 33 points, 47.75 fantasy points at a monster of a game. Outside of that, I'm not going to mess with anyone else over here off the bench. It would just really be the main guys over here. Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell would be the main 2 guys that I would focus on. Mobley, like I said, looks like I'm not going to call it a true minutes limit because it doesn't really look like it to me. He's going out there doing everything that he was doing before. He even was missing that time due to his injury, but definitely in contention and in play for me. I would go right back to him. Played 1 game versus Miami earlier this season. I want to say he got injured in that game because he only played 12 minutes in that game versus them. So I can see the upside for going to Evan Mobley. Don't mind him. Donovan Mitchell, of course, without Garland, his assist upside and those things like that should be able to go up. We know he's going to have to go out there and somewhat lead the team. Definitely do like him and would definitely just go there, especially if they don't start Ty Jerome. But if they do start Ty, I like him as a good value. On the Miami side of things, this is what will be considered on paper a tough matchup. For me over here on Miami, they pretty much now officially formed a 3-headed monster without Jimmy Butler. That's going to be Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Khalil Ware. That's really honestly the future of this team anyway, till they get rid of Jimmy and see whatever it is that they're going to get back in his spot. But Tyler Hero, 8,800, going out there, playing pretty good, coming off a 61 fantasy point game versus Orlando, who is considered a pretty tough matchup for opposing guards and everything. Dropped 30 points, 12 assists. The assist, that is crazy for him going out here. But 41, 39, 39, 34. Of course, as long as the shots are falling and everything, his upside is very good. Bam Adebayo, I really always hate playing Bam, be very, very honest. But they got him playing the power forward spot. 54 fantasy points versus Orlando, 45 versus the Brooklyn Nets, 34 versus the Milwaukee Bucks. In the game that he played earlier versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, in 36 minutes, he dropped 45 fantasy points. So upside definitely would be there for Bam. I don't hate or mind going to him, but I will say I do like the shiny new toy in Khalil Ware officially being in the starting lineup, 6,200. I would take a chance on Ware. Hopefully he can keep himself out of foul trouble and not pick up any crazy fouls trying to guard Jared Allen. Or if I am Spoelstra, I'm putting Bam on Jared Allen and I'm putting Ware on Evan Mobley. That's honestly the matchup and how I would have it for these guys going out there. That's just me personal. But Ware, lovely upside. We know he has some block upside. We know that also if he can get hot from just the floor, period, we know he's going to be able to rebound pretty well out there for what he's actually able to go out there and do. But it's the fact that he can actually stretch the floor and shoot. That's really the upside for the kid out there. 4-4 in that last game. Been waiting for that. Of course, the day I didn't ladder his threes up to 4 is the day he finally goes out there and hits off a 4. But typically a play that I do take for him is for him to at least make 2 threes. And that was cashing out pretty well for me. since he's been in the starting lineup. But of course, I don't play him. He goes out there and hits 4 for 4. That's honestly crazy. But where I do like him, 6,200. That's a good price tag for him right there. Everyone else over here, we can look towards Jovic, Jaime Jaquez. He's in. We can look towards him as well. Not gonna mess with Highsmith. Not worth it at all. Duncan Robinson, I always hate playing him anyway. Too relying on his scoring out there. Really, it is just Tyler Hero, Ben Adebayo, Khalil Ware, and then just a sprinkle of Jovic and Jaime Jaquez for me over there for them. Sacramento Kings taking on Philly. Like I said, this right here, it's going to be interesting just because Fox, the fact that he's being dangled in trade talks, it really can go one of two ways. Comes out here, plays great, and boosts the trade stock, or they're cautious with him. They don't play him his normal run, deep run, or things like that. So I will say I do want to focus on the other players, and it's not just because of the trade talk, but I like Sabonis in this spot. No Embiid, possibly no Drummond, and Sabonis has been going off the last couple games. Back-to-back triple doubles. We're seeing the assist upside again from him. This is another good spot for him going out here. He's a rebound monster, and I see him being able to go out here and do the same thing again here today. Love the upside for Sabonis here. 9,900 definitely be another stud that I don't mind getting up to and paying up for. Outside of that, Malik Monk, he's not on the trade block, but he goes out here and he balls. Definitely, he has the playmaking upside. He tends to get more of the assists anyway between him and Fox. More consistent in that regards. But then also, I know he's going to go out there and chuck a ton of threes. Now, granted, he shot 6 from 3, but if he would have hit those threes, would definitely gave us a much bigger night besides his 39 fantasy point outing that he had. He can actually score besides just getting the 3-point balls to fall. Definitely has a mid-range game and also getting to the rim as well, and can give us some defensive stats. 7,200. Love the upside for Malik Monk. Wouldn't mind taking a pair of both Sabonis and Monk if I was to take from this game. Like both of them right there. Outside of that, I could possibly see myself maybe looking towards DeMar DeRozan, who has over his last couple games before New York and Brooklyn games, he was looking like he was catching fire. Maybe we could see him get back to that again here. The matchup versus Philly, it's not terrible. Kelly Olynyk is not a lockdown defender or anything like that. Maybe we can get a good bounce back spot for DeRozan here. And then Keegan Murray definitely is another one. He's finally been having some decent games, more of a GPP option just because of how inconsistent he is. But definitely someone I wouldn't mind and definitely could consider. But me on the Philly side of things, they're playing on the back end of a back-to-back. Pretty high-intense game for them last night versus the Lakers. I'm not inclined to want to play anybody over here. Even with Embiid missing, even with, what's his name, Paul George missing and everything and whatnot. I know they're going to be limited, short Ross and all that other stuff. I don't feel like I necessarily have to try to play anything over here from Philly. If we were, of course, it's going to be the normal guys, Tyrese Maxey, Yabusele. You can look towards some of the bench guys and Ricky Council, who had a really great game off the bench last night. 20 minutes, dropped 33.25 fantasy points. Dude was balling his lights out. Like, legit was balling. Ridiculous. Ricky Council would be someone I look towards. What's his name? Jordan Edwards, or I think I said his name right. Justin Edwards, maybe you could look towards him. He's getting some decent Brennan run, and if he's starting again, I could maybe go there. But I'm not too inclined to want to get anybody over here from Philly. I really just think that letdown spot, and also that they're going to take the L tonight, and I wouldn't be surprised. So look towards those other guys, Ricky Council, Justin Edwards, GPP stab at a Tyrese Maxey or a Yabusele, but not worth it in my opinion at all whatsoever today. Denver Nuggets taking on the New York Knickerbockers. Of course, as always, I don't have to talk about it. The Joker's a Joker. Jamal Murray, Russell Westbrook. Russ, his minutes are kind of, they went down a little bit, especially with Aaron Gordon being back. And then also, of course, with them actually blowing a lot of teams out over the last couple games, they were actually in the fire going up against Chicago. Surprised that they lost this game. 35 minutes, Russ went 6 of 10 from the field, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. Really surprised he only had 5 assists as well. But I'd go right back to Russell Westbrook here, 6,300. As long as he's starting, I think that's a decent price tag, safe to say. I'm not going to talk about the Joker. Jamal Murray, he's Jamal Murray. Definitely can go there if you want to get different. I do think that he'll be lower owned out of these 3 top guys up here. Christian Braun, he's been playing pretty well over his last couple games. Coming off of 46.25 versus Chicago Bulls. That's mad. That's crazy, especially for Christian Braun. But The proof is in the pudding in his last couple games. What he's had, decent value play right there at that 4,800 price tag. I do like the upside for what he can bring. And then if you think that Aaron Gordon can keep up his fantasy point per minute production that he's been giving us in all these games so far, I can definitely see myself getting there. But I'm not gonna focus or force anyone over here from Denver outside of the main guys and the Joker, Russ, Jamal Murray. Maybe a sprinkle at the Christian Braun would be something I could take, and Michael Porter Jr. 5,900 at the power forward spot. Yeah, decent, but not necessarily like a must play or a must have or anything like that to me. Ooh. All right, on the New York side, I like everybody over here. Karl-Anthony Towns, Brunson, Hart, long as he's in, he looks good. Bridges, OG. Surprisingly, Tibbs has been actually going to his bench lately. I know, that's a shocker. But we can still look towards all these guys over here. They played once this season earlier, and in that game, pretty much everybody went out there and had a fantasy point per minute production being out there. The only one that went off. Karl-Anthony Towns dropped 61 fantasy points in this spot, which is, of course, really great. Brunson, he dropped 54 in 38 minutes. So we've seen that these guys, they definitely can't go off. All of them are in contention to play. I do say that I do like attacking the Joker with opposing centers, especially centers that actually can play. And Towns is one of those. One of the props that I do actually like to take, and I've been taking over the last couple games, is centers assist versus the Joker. It cashes. Just trust me on that. Take the assist. Take Towns' assist versus the Joker. In that first game that they played versus them, he had 4 assists in that game going up against them, which is not a surprise or a shocker to go ahead and see. But I promise you, take Towns' assist versus the Joker. Just trust me. Trust me. If I got to rank these guys over here, it's going to be Karl-Anthony Towns, it's going to be Brunson, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG. That's how I'd rank him over here. If Hart gets ruled out, then we should see McBride get slid into the starting lineup. That's not bad. That'll boost Cameron Payne off the bench for him as well. And same thing for Landry Shamet over there. Clippers taking on San Antonio Spurs. Like I said, this is going to be the first game for the Spurs being back in the state. Going to be interesting. I will say the Clippers, honestly, surprising me with how they're looking out here and playing well. And I honestly was hoping that they would be hot shit because we own their pick this season, but for them, Spurs play at a fast pace. We should be able to see a decent upside. James Harden, I know he's coming off of a big night, 53, 63, 57, 42, 47. Harden's been balling. Kawhi, he's putting up some pretty great numbers, and I like the upside in what I'm seeing right there. Definitely don't mind James Harden here, 9,400. Zubac, opposing centers, we can take that going up against the prodigy child of the NBA in Wemby. In the first game going up against him this season, he dropped 38 fantasy points. Second game, he only went out there, played 22 minutes, and had 16 fantasy points. But that was a massive blowout versus the San Antonio Spurs in that game. So I don't mind going over here to Big Zoo, who we've seen coming off of a 55 fantasy point game versus Phoenix. I definitely wouldn't mind and can definitely see myself taking that. Outside of that, Kawhi Leonard, GPP option, just because he is still limited on his minutes, but they are ticking up. We know he is a great producer whenever he is out there. So we'll jump on aboard the train of Kawhi Leonard, but not yet. I don't feel like we need to just yet. Norman Powell would be one that I would definitely look towards because it definitely is. It's Powell. It's Harden, Powell, Leonard, Zubac, and that's just simply right now because Leonard's not getting his full allotment in a minute, so we're still seeing Powell, seeing that production, seeing that upside, seeing everything that he's had over here. So don't mind getting to him as well as a possible play. Everyone else over here not looking towards Terrence Mann, Batum, Kevin Porter Jr. None of these guys, there's no need to get cute at that. If you want to get cute with something, maybe, just maybe, you could take a Derrick Jones Jr. just because they still have him out there starting. And we know if he gets hot or he's playing some pretty good defense, he definitely has an upside, especially 4,100. We could take that. On the San Antonio Spurs side, I'm not going to have to talk about it. Wemby is Wemby. Of course, I don't hate the matchup going up against Zubac. Honestly, it takes a lot for someone to be able to outmatch or be able to do something where I'm not going to want to be able to play them going up against Wemby. And Wemby, he's dropped 70 fantasy points in the first game, 53 in the second game versus them. Of course, a matchup problem. Again, first game for them being back in the state is the only caveat and the only thing that I'll just be a little worried about trying to take anybody from the Spurs or anybody from the Pacers game, is the only worry about that. But outside of that, if I do have to play anyone else besides Wemby, I'd say looking at Vassell and Sam Castle, both of these guys, I would be in contention to play. Castle been playing pretty decent, had 2 stinkers in between 30 plus fantasy points outings in here versus Miami and Indy, and that was the first game out there in Paris. Second game dropped 35. So Castle, he's in the starting lineup, and the dude shoots shoot looking pretty good out there. Same thing for Vassell, played well the first game, pretty shit in the second one, but he's been pretty consistent normally whenever he's out there on the court. I will say in the one game that he did play versus Denver, put up almost a fantasy point per minute, 26 minutes, he dropped 22 fantasy points in that game. Not looking towards CP3 or anyone else over there. Last game of the night, Dallas taking on New Orleans Pelicans. We already know what time it is. Probably, honestly, one of the best center plays on the slate because he doesn't have a backup. Daniel Gafford. The dude is putting himself back into contention for just being that motherfucker. 42, 48, 41, 71. I'm gonna ignore this girl going against OKC because he still put up a fantasy point per minute in 23 minutes, 23.75 fantasy points. Just, hey, the dude's balling. He's balling. Now you get one of the best matchups for opposing centers versus the Pelicans. Double. Just go ahead and stamp it. Take the double bet. Just go ahead and take it. It's going to be there. But Gafford, he's in contention to play. PJ Washington, of course, in contention to play. Kyrie Irving is in play. Klay Thompson would be the only one that's just like, hey, Klay, you there. But I really don't see the need that you have to get there. But yeah, Gafford is like my favorite play, of course, over here from Dallas. You guys already know I love to attack the Pelicans with opposing centers, but that's just no-brainer, way too easy. Definitely going there. And he's already played them twice this season. And the second game, he did get the start, which was on the 15th of this month. He dropped 50 fantasy points in that game. That's it. Like, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And let me see. Was that double-double? 12 rebounds and 27 points. Yeah, double-double. I'm taking him for the double-double today. Like, that's just guaranteed. On the Pelican side of things, we definitely, of course, Zion, we know he's putting up some pretty decent numbers in a lot of the minutes that he gets out there. Ticking up towards the 30-ish minutes mark, but still really great production when he's out there. Don't mind looking towards Zion if you want some type of run back or something like that. DeJounte Murray, as long as he's in 8,500, we know that he's just playing out of his mind. Him as well, he'd be a great play. Trey Murphy would be the other one I would look to. Really not too interested in CJ McCollum, but Trey Murphy would be the other one I would look towards right here as well versus Dallas. In 38 minutes, dropped 52 fantasy points versus them. So the upside definitely is there for all three of those guys. Those would be the main ones that I would look to from the Pelicans. Not really going to look towards anything else. All right, guys, this one is probably my longest video ever due to several breaks that I had to take and everything. I do apologize for that, but hopefully you guys were able to get a little something from this. If you guys did, just support the channel, drop a like on this video, and let me know down in the comment section how you guys doing. How's your health? How's everybody doing out there? But with that being said, that's gonna be it for me. Good luck to everybody out here on today. Peace.